This is a desperate appeal to the Windsor family. Charles, congratulations and all that. Very sorry and everything. I put some videos up in loving memory of the protector of swans we've now kind of lost. I don't think Ireland knew how important Elizabeth II was for us. Anyway, hopefully Charlie will protect the swans, which was the negotiation that my family made between England. And I heard the Windsors wouldn't be on the crown if it wasn't for my family or the negotiations that we did, intermediating. And it turns out now that my family have birthed in Israel, myself, firstborn son. Rivers contain me, I guess it comes back around and around. So, and this is for the Tory party in England. So my Windsor Tory party. I usually like the kind of wealthy conservative Republican parties in politics. I know that's in my country it's terrible because wealthy Republicans, and they're all scummy, piggy. There's no Minister for Internal Affairs in Ireland. I said this many times, you know what I mean? It's a joke. I don't know what we're paying for. Anyway, because it used to be the most blackmailed and paid off man in the world, or in Europe, I'd imagine. So anyway, we don't have one. We have a minister. We don't have Minister for Internal Affairs. You get the Sergeant of the Garda Síochána and the Dud phone number if you look up for a Minister of Internal Affairs in this country. So this is why this problem brewed in Ireland anyway. And this is why I want to let you know about it. I'm not your constituent, Rishi, Mr. Sunak, or Mr. Truss, or I emailed Boris Johnson and it said on this page, I can't help you if you're not my constituent, please understand this. And it's like, I know I'm not your constituent, but this will affect everybody, and it already has affected everybody. I don't mean to sound weird, but you put a little bit of risque information in your Bond films there up until the very end, you know, little things. I dug out that name, and he's an American journalist or something like that, but he's in the Rose World and all this. But he's put in it in the Spectre one at the end. So you see this kind of new rare operation in some desert where they're all like psychic slave drones. And you use a poetry, and you said, we know what you're doing. You're burning down cities, and then you're supplying them the care plan. This is happening all over the world at the moment, so I want to warn the Tories, because it's probably happening in your world. People claiming to be advisors and things and have amazing advisory capacities. And these are all what the fires are that they're spreading is Babylon. You might believe not Babylon is an ancient city, but it's more so as a cult, probably a sex cult, psychic cult, and you see this all the way through assassins and things like this. Now Babylon burns down, like in the book of Jeremiah, consumes cities and places. So when they say they're burning down cities, Miami, Florida, the Rose World, some people anyway are taking my broken, stolen, mutinied temple, my orrery, which is a burning bush, and spreading it all over Europe, and they did America as well. And then they can dominate the people in the burning bush. This is where you get Hebrew slavery at the very beginning of the Bible. Genesis, they're all in bondage and Hebrew slavery. They were cheated and ripped off, and they weren't meant to be enslaved. The group of people containing Israelites and many Israelites over at that stage. I have lots of videos explaining this history kind of thing, so I'm trying to just squash this anyway. This emergency desperate appeal for you people. Excuse me. So yeah, they've got burning bush everywhere now, and you know it's woeful. It's going to be 1984. It's going to be on the streets and silent. You're not going to know about it or hear about it. Happened in Rio de Janeiro, I imagined, and how they fixed it was they put a big statue of Jesus over the entire town, a big impressive statue of Jesus, and everybody in that town had to look up, or probably did look up and respect Jesus. It's about finding the proper history and due respect, the gospel truth of the Lordship. So after Jesus, there was loads of gypsies running around, I'm the Messiah, for a long time, I think about 500 years as far as I have it. Lots of people were running around, chopping heads off apostles and Hydra effect and witnessing this and witnessing that. And lots of gypsies, and it wasn't very common knowledge. The Gospels that we have as very common knowledge wasn't common knowledge and needed to be made and appreciated, the honest and true history of Lordship. There won't be good love if there is no true Lord. I'm Charles Foster Kane. What do you think? You gotta love me. There's a holy fortune involved in all this. So you might know about Ories and stars. I learned a bit about them from the last 8 years of tribulation that I've brought on Earth. I had 1,400 of these, about 12 to 1,400 Ories. Most people might have one or two if they're kind of special. Have a few, you know what I mean? I had 1,400. And I don't put a profane price tag on these things, but they can go up to like 12 billion or something a piece. I wouldn't put a profane price tag on stars or Ories. So it's not that I have a holy fortune, but worth a lot. And over the last 8 years, I've been set upon by very wealthy and very powerful people. Not great people. Now, I'd say Tories are grand people compared to these psychopaths from Miami, Florida. Sinn Féin Mafia were the ones who originally kind of discovered me and wanted their Judas-like finder's fee. For some reason, apparently, the Pope worked with Rockefellers and the Rose World and this Sinn Féin Mafia instead of me. And they mutinied my temple somewhat collectively and shared it between them. So when you work with me and we take control of the temple, like what would Jesus do? You're going to be very wealthy and very, 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 very powerful. I'm not going to brag or put things on. So I'm going to speak on behalf of the potential of the Lord, but like the immortal armies that of Alexander that could destroy thousands and wouldn't be harmed. Armies of King David, kind of thing. On top of this, Tory party, my presentation to you, it'll stop the climate change and everything's perfect by my father. The only reason things are going crazy is because you've lost your history of lordship, and lords can't work for you, and eventually lords under God can't work for you. So climate change will disappear. Things like COVID won't be happening again because that happened to do with stars. That happened because I'm still vulnerable and walking around. Okay, actually, this is actually living in a ditch for 2 winters. Talk about being left vulnerable and walking around. I can't be harmed in any way. I cannot be harmed. It's like Jeremiah, do him no harm, and he follows commandments, and shall prosper by these. All they do is screw with me and torment me all day, hunt me, hound me like a dog. I live in a nightmare. I can't express it. But anyway, I got my head smashed in with a hammer. I got my head broken in with a hammer, and or something like this. I don't know what, it was very painful. And I'll use a lot of angelic protection over this world, a lot of shepherds basically. And because you were left vulnerable, Miami and Florida harvested everybody at one time that was left vulnerable. So you lost a lot of angels and a lot of protection. I remember seeing loads of angels leaving the world when I got my head smashed in. One of the last things I actually kind of saw. And then you were all left vulnerable, and Miami and Florida and the Rockefellers and whatnot did a global cull, took everybody's ovaries at the same time, cut everybody's star at the same time. And that's the vulnerability that came from COVID, and no one knew what was happening. There was lots of reconnectivity having to go on. No one could really explain it, and that's what happened. Miami, and they had like a 3-week summer holiday or summer vacation, they called it, and they had a 3-week party in heaven, which I don't know, probably like special relativity, probably felt like a year or something. And then they woke up to a very disease-ridden and destroyed, tormented world. So anyway, these things that will stop anyway when you've got a true lordship. You've got a Lord that's working for you. At the moment, I'm very Elijah-like, and I'm very angry. I've reached after the 7th year. My president knows very well about it, so I sent him essays and essays. Higgins, he's from Florida, so there you go. And he was elected during the time when this started, since Waterford, when the Mafia originally found me, or discovered me. So climate change will disappear. The famine period will disappear. So I'm boasting this because I'm like Joseph, but I'm Jacob, but I'm down the well. And they stole me and tore me apart and divided me. And what you sow in me, you reap in the world in 7 years later. And that's what happened to Joseph. Was down the well for 7 years. And he said he's feasted it for 7 years, and you're going to have 7 years of famine. And the famine is upon you now. This is the first year that you've only gone through the first year. And the first year wasn't even that bad. By year 3, it got really bad. So in 2 years, or a year or two from now, it's going to get really, really bad, unless we establish Potiphar. So this is my presentation. I just need this crappy, apparently almost arbitrary office, but it needs to be recognised, and it needs to be legitimate. It needs to have a global in its title, so global advisory of physics or metaphysics or something like this. A global advisor. I just do a spiritual medical advice, or absolute understanding is what I'm trying to really sell. But this would be Potiphar, and because it's just arbitrary global office, as in available to every government or people around the world. That will be so that will fix the 7 years if I'm sowing and helping the entire world in some way for 7 years. How we also avoid the famine period and set everything perfect back in the world is, it looks like the American flag. Is what exactly happened after, when Jacob and Joseph and all were reunited, when all Jacob's friends and family were in one place at one time, and it's 12 bells and all as well, and they're safe and happy. So all my friends and family, my history of friends, are all being hunted, stalked by these people, these mafia. It's right, again, a nightmare. Hunted murder sometimes, they're killing them. And connecting people do mean killing them all the time. My hometown, because of proximity, I'm like a heater bee, so I actually have proximity. Jesus had proximity, and it was supposed to be like the circumference of the earth. Wasn't the entire circumference of the earth, but he had a massive proximity of I don't know how to explain it, like a heater bee. This is the eloquence of the situation. It is like a heater bee, and people are fascinated over these things, and they are solar connected, so they affect the stars. The sun started going absolutely crazy through February to 2022. When I started going crazy, I was very kind of calm and patient for most of this 7, 8 year, maybe 9 years now of jihad. But then I did start at that February. I went crazy and started smacking myself in the face, and I just couldn't take it anymore. And the sun started going crazy. I can prove this to you. You can hook me up to an ECG machine and an electric current generator, and it goes off the mark. It flies off the wall. They never worked. I'm always like, I'm telling you, it'll spike you. But anyway, so when the famine, pestilence. So yeah, I need to save all my friends and family from this persecution jihad. And I need to make friends with lots of people, like 1,000 friends. I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to that, making friends, because all I've done is suffer and anonymity, and we have Rockefellers and Damien Rockefeller trash and snotty little IRA kids bullying me, and yeah, it's just a nightmare. They're horrible, narrow-minded people. They're the complete opposite to me in every way, and I have to suffer their bullying. They're just bullying me. And the beast, is back east, House of the East, Sun houses that runs the Sun connected. That's what beast is, and robbed by an anti-prophet. Isn't exactly an anti-prophet, Damien. He wants to be me in every way. He's like the Damien Zoolander. Zoolanders, and he just wants to assume my life. And they're all trying to do better than me and copy me and lots of stuff. It's really, really annoying. So all you need to do really is send a solicitor of some sort, if you could, to Ireland, Wicklow, Ireland. Boris has my address, I'm pretty sure. I sent it to Boris once again. This email wasn't sent by a constituent. But this is burning everywhere. Like, your country's already burnt down. Ireland's destroyed. The north is gone. There's people all over the world in this involved, in case you want to know. King of Spain, French, Dutch, the Royal Union, basically. I don't speak to them all anymore, at all. I destroyed Florida. I destroyed the Netherlands, like Elijah can, I destroyed Spain. Are going to get it pretty bad, and Portugal have been terrible. Mexico aren't great. Anyway, there's a lot of people involved. It's been 7 or 8 years. But it's like the snitch in Harry Potter. Once you get me and start working with me, then you'll get all the gypsies out of my temple. I'll befriend you. When Jesus saved John the Baptist loved Jesus so much he made him immortal. And that's where Jesus was immortal. He was also an Israelite from the Joseph family, and John the Baptist was a Levite. So what would Jesus do? You need to be the turnpike and save me. I can only assume there's some reason why you can't do this. I'm fairly sure Elizabeth II, Her Royal Highness, Her Majesty, knew about me and stuff, and Maud, my friend, and I don't know, is help from a distance kind of thing. Anything else need to yeah, Brexit was just on, because he's a Tories and stuff. Brexit was just on time, by the way. Brexit was spot on time. I was still concealed and down the well and hidden. If you had me and Brexit at the same time, it would have been amazing. It easily have holified all of Ireland and England and one big lovely union all together again, and we could. Oh, it would have been great, man. It would have been so powerful. So it's not too late anyway. He's still in control of their Tory party and supporting Brexit. Yeah, and then finished that statement earlier on. I usually like these wealthy Republican parties, conservative parties, because they're already wealthy, and they're not going to really rip you off if you think about it. So if you're going into government and you're wealthy, you have to bring a lot of your money into government with you. You see this in the Tory party; they're always donating or contributing. They're putting a lot of themselves into the government, so they want it to work well. You get these kind of democratic parties and stuff, and they're just like flyboys and showmen and all. And they just want to rob your country. You know, they're quick in, quick out. Biden looks like this very much to me. He's just like, use the arm, pull out of Afghanistan, do all these horrible twists and turns. Where Trump was already super wealthy. He wasn't going to rob you. He was going to do the best job he could do. He'd already had the money. He didn't need it. He wasn't going to rob America like most presidents rob America, probably, and try to sink the ship, and there's a lot of money in sinking the ship. But he just wanted to be the best president and be remembered for it. And that works to your advantage, that they just want to do well. Because they have a lot to lose, you know what I mean? The richer people. Otherwise, they're just kind of hippies that want to get control of the party. I have no energy, but I want them to start a socialist worker party. Because gypsies won the war, guys, didn't they? You know what I mean? Gypsies won the war. Socialism, spiritual and ontological socialism lost the war. We'll talk more about that in the future. Yeah, it's just crazy. There's no order in the stars, like where it matters most, as above, so below. And it's a feudalistic nightmare at best. When I showed up, it's constant warfare. And when there's war in the stars, that's what Armageddon is. And there's war on Earth, when they're warring over the stars and fighting over in between and over in my orrery and over my orrery. So that's for Mr. Rishi Sunak. Best of luck on that. Charlie brother, Charlie. So a great video in Glastonbury, like, you know, they probably paid for it. I imagine, like, you know, pay for stuff like Glastonbury all the time. But some hippie pulled a stunt where Charles was there visiting the festival and having a look at what, you know, everything is when he went into, and this is nice and lovely, and just visiting and having a quick look and should look around. And some lad, like, got a apparent sack of marijuana. I don't know if it's real. Charlie, brother, Charlie, it's me from Cambridge, Charlie. Charlie, I brought you this, Charlie. Go for the good old times, Charlie. And he fucks a sack of marijuana, Charles. Charlie, brother, have a smoke on me, bro. It's great to see you. It was kind of funny. And anyway, yeah, so, you know, send out the redcoats, send out the, the Royal Guard in my life. Next little Geldof kind of thing. Heaterby is Skinks and Scholars from Ireland. So on the family home, and Boris might have the address, I'm pretty sure. He's getting inundated with mails and stuff all the time. I mailed my President, Taoiseach, Department of Justice, newspapers. You know, so many people, but yeah, it's hard to write it all out and explain all it, so I just want to make a video this time, because I'm not great this morning anyway, so I just thought make a desperate appeal to the Tory party and Windsor family of Great Britain, and know that you're probably already inundated in this kind of situation of gypsies claiming to know all your secrets, and they can know all your secrets, and it's like, it's, you know, they're stealing fruit of knowledge from my worry. I'm like Elijah, keys of heaven and hell and stuff on me. They stole them, and you know, the information wars, you know, they can know anything about you, they can know anything you're doing at any time without me. There's no true lordship. So when you have me, your confessions are safe. You don't have me, your confessions aren't safe, and they're eliciting a lot of confessions off people and destroying Christianity and replacing themselves as lords, rather in spite of Christ or instead of Jesus. This is one of the most important components of the history lords. You know, in a way in Ireland you say, like, oh, Mary, Joseph, St. Margaret, Paul, John, Jesus, they say this history, lineage of saints and lordships, saints under lordships and lordships. That's why I say that, because you need to recognise true and honest lineage of lordships. So, like, I got ripped off, you know, Elijah or King David or John the Baptist, and put down the well. And I got a lot of this smell terrible, and people like, stay away from him, and he's crazy, and they might threaten you, you know, Rishi, on the way. They might say, like, we'll get your wife and children if you try to help him, and we'll So it won't be easy. Like, we're already in year 8 and it's only going to get harder. The Pope originally, I'm pretty sure, used to say, "You're too much trouble. It's too much trouble. You're in too much trouble." I was like, "Oh yeah, check again. 7 years and see, reaping what you sow." So yeah, famine, war. Do you know wars? Famine, war, pestilence, plague, disease. Your rivers will return when my memory returns. In the meantime, they're changing my name a lot. They changed my name to monsters and rapists from the Irish military. Horrible, twisted, murderous rapists, mafia and gangsters. As predicted, they tried to kill me in these names because they found it's very difficult to kill me. And they're like, "Why can't we kill him?" And he's like, or hurt him. He's like, "It's because of his name." So they changed my name then and still tried to kill me. And this was predicted that they'd try to crucify him in the name of rapists and murderers to make it happen. Even so. So, but what I mean to say to you in the meantime is, when they name change me, it's like you change the mustard seed itself. When you change my name, you change the name of many things, particularly your sperm. I'd like to remind you of videos on this already. This was my great relief, so I was very kind of cheeky and happy about it. And this is why the Pope they write their names on those balls to remind them that they're writing the names on balls. So while I have these horrible PJ Mahon and these gypsies are in Donegal at the moment, running some gypsy temple, some silent gypsy temple or something like that. And they're a big cow herd. Babylonian merchants, it's not even to be taken lightly. It's very dangerous. So when they change my name to these people's names, that's written on all your sperm in the world. So if your children are Nephilim, name not spoken, like an Enoch, stillborn basically, then they're going to be named in these peoples that have changed into my name. So you can have lots of creepy little ginger IRA babies and rapist murder babies all over the world, and these are being born all day, every day, in the meantime, while I'm left down the well. That's Irish. And you can see this all over Europe, and I'll be like, "Why do we have an Irish accent?" And they're like, "Oh, there's people who are constantly masturbating and using sex magic up in Donegal." And sainted and celibate, like multi-saints are celibate. And I didn't know about it all for so many years, and I was like, "It's not just all sexies are doing, is it?" I couldn't believe it. No. Like, no wonder I've been suffering completely out of the loop and didn't see or know anything about this. Completely and absolutely chaste and celibate and happily. And yeah, so infidelity, you know what I mean? It's going to be great for everybody when it gets sorted for Islam and Christianity, and the Jews will be better than know everything. LGBT community haven't had a Lord or a prophet bring understanding and to their world and speak on their behalf. I am that person. It was even weird posters that appeared on the Garda station after they tried to kill me there twice in the same day, a year or two back. Big pink signs. It was, "I'm queer now." I was like, "That's funny." I'm not, but I don't mind if you call me that, because then you'll have queer written on your sperm, you'll have queer children, and then you'll have to learn to love your queer children, where you fail to love other apparently queer people in the world. Rivers contain me, it's funny. I figure that thing out about calling me names. They're always calling me names and abusing me and changing my name and offending me and stuff. I figured it out because they can't figure it out. They keep calling me stupid. I was like, "You stupid sperm, stop calling me stupid. Like, you're stupid if you keep calling me stupid, and it makes your sperm stupid." I was like, "Call me everything you want your children to be. And your children will be everything you want them to be." Alright. Originally, actually, I was like to say that's what the problem happened with these people in Wexford, this mafia, IRA mafia, because I was writing aphorisms to make Irish people very intelligent very quickly. A little book that was going to make Irish people intelligent very quickly. And it was too effective. Basically, they were reading me as I was writing because they were spying on everybody on their PCs and computers. All Republican virtues. And they did respect me greatly and thought I was an absolute genius. And then they became very John 3:16. They became very aligned with heaven, basically. They didn't set themselves against me. A lot of people call me trouble. They set themselves against me. And you're setting yourself, it has an effect. So they really thought I was shit cool and amazing, and they became very kind of powerful or prophetic even. They were running around town claiming to be prophets and messiahs and whatever, but they still was coveting my orreries, my mind, my name, particularly my name, and your image is in your name. So that's why Burka doesn't exist. They don't exploit the names. Exploit people. Yeah, you know, World War II has a cat out of the hat again, and we've forgotten all about it now. And we've got a lot of people, stupid people, are doing the same things that they did to start this in the first place. You know, Babylonian pharaohic slavery that ends up putting a lot of people in slave camps and stuff. Babylonian slavery. So yeah, save a donkey on any given Sunday and put a stop to all of it. It's one little folly-some office. It's very affordable. It's cheaper than giving Bob Dylan a microphone in the first place. And yeah, as long as it's just respected and valid and real, this apparently little silly office of me interpreting Torah and taking phone calls, if I get my holy fortune, is going to change to a stopping suffering. And I'm just going to do everything I can to stop all the forms of suffering in the world. A great Protestant mission. Stop all suffering and bring sofas and tea and comfort to the world so you can all sit back and appreciate God in a very positive sense. Yep. So, ooh, game on. I don't know why they're not queuing up outside my door. It might be impossible. Like, I don't know how hard it is. Maybe, you know, I've said this in another video. They might have used roadblocks or intercept you or blackmail you or intervene, but you just have to get the job done. And see if the Baptist, what would Jesus do? Shabbat Shalom and Shabbat al Shalom. Alright, thanks for your time. 26 minutes up.